I was considering the horns. So something in the horns called Daniel's attention. Besides everything that was happening, which I'm sure it was amazing, there was something regarding the horns of that fourth beast that he couldn't comprehend, and he was trying to, like, when he was trying to see the point pretty much in the revelation. So it says, I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them. So there were 10 horns, and from those 10 horns, one little horn came up, coming up among them. It's important that it's little horn, a little one, because it's little in importance, is little in deeds, yet he will be seen by the world as huge, as big, as important, and will be given everything that he doesn't deserve. So the beast is called the little horn. He will think to be huge and big and powerful, yet before Yahweh he's just little. On the other hand, the second coming, the last, comes as a little person, meaning small and little to the world in importance, and by appearances they will reject him, by his teaching they will reject him. Everything, they will see it as little, of small importance. So he will be a small person to the world, yet big to the kingdom, important to eternity. That's why he's coming like a thief in the night. That's why he's coming like Paul. Paul represented the second coming. Paul means small. So I hope that is understood. Once again, I can continue with that point because I think it's also important. It is interesting. The world will see the beast as an important person, yet before Yahweh he's actually very little. Also, people would think he's powerful, but has little power because Yahweh can take him out whenever he wants. Yet Yahweh will use him to bring judgment on this world, meaning punishment. So one little horn, that is important also, just in case, because people tend to see horns as evil just because they have used horns for Satan for so long. But horns represent power, represent authority, represent pretty much the king. That's why the king, like I said, of those animals that serve men is the ox, the bull, and the bull has horns because he is the king. The rams, for instance, they fight and use the horns to fight and make damage. So it's just like the beast would represent the power, the kingdom, and the horn would be actually the leader that represents the whole thing and goes and fight and goes before the people, just like the horn would go before the actual head. So in Micah, or Micah in Hebrew, 4:13 of the prophet Micah, it says, "Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make your horn iron." So Yahweh is telling the daughter of Zion, Yahudim, Yerushalayim, that Yahweh is telling them that he will make its its horn, which is the king of iron. So it's like a ram, for instance, with a iron horn would be able to defeat everybody. But iron is connected to Rome, which is weird if you don't take the whole scriptures in account. So Yahweh is also saying about the horn, what we see in Isaiah 63, the fact that the last comes as a Roman. That's why he's the prince whose people will destroy the temple, according to Daniel 9, and we will see that later on. Well, not today, but a couple weeks from now. So the last comes as a Roman, according to Daniel 9, according to Isaiah 63, according to Micah 4, and other verses and chapters of scriptures. He comes as a Roman. He will be seen as a Gentile. That's why Yahweh says, I will make your horn iron. He will be covered as a Gentile, just like Yaakov dressed as Edom, Esau, Esav, his brother, who became the main people of Rome. So that's why Yaakov dressed as Esav, because the last, who is the king, as David, will be dressed as a Roman, just like Paul was a Hebrew but had Roman citizenship. So he will be genetically an Israelite, the last, yet in appearance will be a Roman, because he will be made of iron, as Yahweh prophesied. And we see that then Israel has a horn. That doesn't make Israel evil, because the point of the horn is to represent a king. Power. Some say that Moshe got horns when he came out of speaking with Yahweh, and that's why he got the veil on his face, because people were afraid of looking at him. They interpret the horns that are written, because it does say in Hebrew that horns came out of his face. It does say it, yet it could be interpreted as rays of light coming out of his face. So that's why they write that, because it sounds better. But in Hebrew, literal, it says horns. That's to show that power emanated from his face for being next to the power, represented by the Malach that was speaking with Moshe. And so we read in Micah 4:13, Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make your horn iron, and I will make your hooves bronze, like the two witnesses, iron and bronze, what they will represent, what they come to destroy, and other things. You shall beat in pieces many peoples. I will consecrate their gain to Yahweh, and their substance to Yahweh, to the mighty one of the whole earth, to the sovereign of the whole earth. So a horn is something positive. Yet how, since the horns of the world, the leaders of the world, have become something so evil, then not to wonder why horns represent something evil. But I repeat, in scriptures, it is a representation of authority. So the last who comes as one of the two witnesses is the iron horn of Micah 4. But now we see in Daniel that there will be another horn who will be actually very little, the little horn, who's the beast of Revelation 13, the first beast, the world leader. So I'm going to continue and hurry, because I've been taking forever tonight. I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. So there are 10. When the little horn comes out, 3 of the 10 will be plucked out. So it's very possible that the one little horn, the world leader, when he comes out in power, like to appear to the world, he will kill or get rid of 3 of the 10 leaders who have the power over the world. It could be through the war that will happen during the second seal, which would be the third world war. So I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little horn coming up among them, a little one coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots, which is interesting because it connects with the 3 ribs that the bear had in its mouth. And the way it connects is because this beast has a characteristic of a bear, like the feet of a bear that we saw in Revelation 13, and 3 horns are taken out. And there, in this horn, were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. So, speaking great things, like promising the world, promising to the world the heavens, promising paradise, promising healthcare for all, promising money for all, promising life, promising a bunch of other things that politicians promise and do not have the power to fulfill, or don't even have the intention to fulfill. But he will say great things, even great things against Yahweh, against the truth, against the two witnesses. And since Yahweh will allow him to do so, then many people will fall for it by believing what he's saying because of the great things that he's saying. They will believe those words. So the fact that Daniel says, I was considering the horns, to kind of understand it in a movie type of way, is like if the whole vision was happening, but Yahweh himself was focusing the whole vision on the 10 horns of the fourth beast, and then from those 10 horns, one horn comes out, and now the focus is on that one little horn because it happens to have the eyes of a man. So that shows that it is a human that will come from that empire. So this horn, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and mouth speaking great things, like we saw in Revelation 13, that it says that the mouth was like that of a lion. A lion speaks, well, roars in a great way. So it would be a man speaking great things.